product names of the educator. This is our logo. Our team names are Shuo, Chen, Kaitlynn, and Zhaowei. This is a CAD model of our product, and this is a physical model. The concept is to start here, and this would show potential energy. When it goes to this, and then this second station, it shows centripetal force, and then on this station, it would show Newton's first law. This is project management. This is our Gantt chart. This shows all of our tasks. The red tasks showed right there show our critical line. Those are the tasks that we have to finish on time to get our project done on time. This line is today's date. So far we've finished all these tasks, and we have only the design for manufacture, economic analysis, prototyping, and the presentation to do. And then on top is our design structure matrix. It shows the relationships between each of the tasks. They can be in sequences, like the top two, or industrial design and design for manufacture. They are independent of each other. And then product architecture and industrial design, they are interdependent.
So this is pattern 3, which is the friction element of having layers of porous, sintered metal fibers, which was first patented in 1966, October 25th. So for this pattern, it's just to have an actual layer of like material coated on the actual fibers, so it can increase the frequency for the material while sliding through. So what we're trying to do for this pattern is that we can probably coating another layer of like material on our BRG rampings, so when the ball gliding through the ramp, it can probably decrease the frequency, so less energy will be consumed. So this is pattern 4. It's an impact energy absorbing structure for a vehicle. This was first created in 1989, June 27th by Mazda. So for this pattern, they put the bumper, they add different materials to the bumper, so when the car collides with something else, it can protect the passengers. So what we're trying to do for this pattern is like, I'm thinking about adding extra stuff while like ping pong ball or marbles like hit the wall. Like we add extra stuff like to the wall to support it, just in case like after 20 times of usage, things start to cracking up and start to break down.
Hi, I'm Zhaowei. I'm going to introduce the economic analysis to you. So this is our economic analysis form, and this is cash flow diagram. From our last report, we found that our basic cost is $45,000, and for this one, we add some other kind of cost like storage renting. So our minimum requirement of investment will be $55,000, and we're going to return it quarterly because according to the analysis, we can find that it will be the best options for us because it's gonna give us the best revenue for us. So it's our plan.
Alright, so this is our concept generation for station 1, and this is station I created. So what happened was the ping pong ball fall from the high ground here and gets to the bottom and try to gain energy, trying to change the potential energy to kinetic energy while falling down. And it goes up and going down, and like by taking advantage of the gravity force acts in the station model 1. So this is our concept. Our first selected material is the poster board, and the second selected concept selected is the wood. So for this time, we might not be able to use the wood to construct our model, but for the future designs, wood can be more reliable for our designs. And so force on the ball is the gravity, and so our second concept is probably the rubber band, so it can give it more force instead of like just using a normal gravity and then they fall. So for the third one, it's a launch device. Right now we're having the downward slope, which will help it to gain energy while it's sliding down. And our second concept will be the slingshot. Last but not least, the connections for the stations. Our first concept will be the super glue, and which will glue the two stations together. And our second concept will be the hot glue, which is a little fancy and hard to make because it takes a while to glue both stations together, but we'll definitely consider that in our future designs. So this is the failure models and effects analysis for station 1. And so the first item is the first rep, and let the ball goes down and give it the initial speed to go through the system. And the potential failure for this station, for this part, is the ball may bounce out of the system. And we're trying to prevent that from happening. So the actions we're taking is to make connections part between reps and ground it into the arc. So our second item is a board at the end of the rep and bounces the ball to the next orbit. Bounces the ball to the next orbit. And so we're trying to fix here is trying to make a funnel type board which can lead the ball to the right orbit. Our last item is the second rep, which decreases the speed of the ball to make sure the ball bounces to the right way. And potential failure modes for this one is the ball flies out of the ramp. So what we're trying to do for this to solve this problem is to increase the friction on the second ramp so that the ball won't be so fast and it won't gain enough energy to fly out of the ramp.
This is the concept generation table for station 2. Our first choice concept was the ball traveling through a horizontal loop. We would be making that out of poster board, and to push the ball through the hoop, we would use a spinning spoon that was controlled by an Arduino, and we make that out of hot glue. Our second choice was to have the ball travel through a vertical loop, just using the initial velocity from the last station. And that would be made out of cardboard and with super glue, and then we have a CAD model of our station as it is now. This is the failure modes and effects analysis table. So possible failures that might happen are the ball could stop in orbit, the ball might not be able to go the ramp, or the ball may not go into the next station. Basically, we try and fix these problems by prototyping and recording and testing and then modifying our plans.
So this is our concept generation for station 3. Our first concept is use the first ball to push another ball and keep going in the system. And our material for this one will be cardboard, because for this vertical board we need it to be soft. So we choose to use cardboard. And force on the second ball we will use the initial velocity. And we will use super glue to put every part together. Okay, this is a failure model and effects analysis for station 3. So the first key point is the first ramp. We don't need the first ball to be too fast to fly out of the system. So we will consider more about the angle of this of the first ramp, and we will consider friction of this ramp. And the second one is about the vertical ball. It should be soft because we need the first ball to hit it, and it will push the second ball into the system. So it should be soft, and our second ball will be so close to the board, which will be easier for us. So in conclusion, we're going to create a product that can clearly explain the loss of the physics to the children. So according to reach the positive revenue, we're going to sell 150 products per year. So here is our final design of our product. So that's it.